This most disturbing thing happened one day. I was at this homeless shelter. I was trying to get some clothes, some food, and I was trying to get on the computer, but there was a line. And I'm there, and I'm hearing all these voices, and seeing all of these scenes. I'm in another place, and it's as if people see me. They're looking for me, Charity Kraus, but they're looking at someone else, and they see that she's a fraud. And they're talking about these matters, and she's trying to give a presentation. She's trying to give a presentation about trafficking in women. And I had written articles on trafficking in women, specifically when I worked as a newspaper editor in the 90s. And I'd been trying to get my articles, I hadn't been able to get them. And somebody's talking to this other woman, and they're like, "We know you're her. We know you're talking and you're using her life. You're not who you say you are. You don't have the credibility. You're using somebody else's life and work." And it was very surreal for me, because it was as if I was on some current where there were people like, "Yeah, we know," and it's really disgusting. But then there was this other current where it was as if I was supposed to be aware of the whole situation and the surrounding. And I was sad myself, because I'm like, I've been on the streets for over a year and a half, and nobody talked to me. And I understand I'm being trafficked. And it's this ironic thing where I think somebody wanted to make a game out of it or make a bet out of it. She used to be a journalist. She used to write about trafficking in women and issues connected to international sex trafficking. She even traveled and did research, and she even came back and she went to universities and she talked to people and she gave presentations on matters related to women and concerns related to sex trafficking. And now she's on the street and she's pissed off because she was supposed to do something to, get herself her resources, and she just keeps insisting it's prostitution, and she keeps insisting she's being trafficked. And I'm having this going through my mind while I'm like, is it true? So somebody else is pretending to be me? Well, where are they? Who are they? What's going on? So I end up going across the street to the library, and I do something there specific to the fact that I'm trying to file charges. And I come back, I finally get on the computer. I get on the computer and I open it up, and the news comes up, and the first thing that comes up on the news is a talk about how there is some sort of anti-trafficking summit in Washington, D.C. at the White House, and that Ivanka Trump is in the middle of a presentation about her anti-trafficking efforts. And it was happening that morning. I was on a current where I was real time connected to whatever was going on. And see, this is after I'd been kidnapped. And this is after I'd been kidnapped, and after the third day of being kidnapped, that Sunday night, I was being electronically tortured in a horrible way, especially about past sexual experiences I had had. And it was as if I was being interrogated as part of some sort of internal interrogative process. And at some point, I said or did something, and they said, "You've passed the test. You've passed the test. We're going to go ahead and we're going to approve you." And then all of a sudden, they wanted me to be nice and look nice, but then they did this thing where it was literally, they were taking a picture of me, and then they had a picture of Ivanka Trump's face, and they put a picture of Ivanka Trump's face right over my face. And I'm like, wait a second. Are you talking to me, or are you talking to Ivanka? The current was cut off. And the next day, after some ordeal, I was transferred to a private facility. I was transferred to a private facility from the public facility. And the first thing they said when I went in there, the first thing that was on the undercurrent is, "We're going to make you an executive." I said, "What does that mean?" "We're going to make you an executive." I'm like, why am I here? I'm not supposed to be here. Why isn't there anyone to talk to me about HIPAA? Why isn't there anyone to talk to me about patients' rights? Why isn't there anyone that's going to take this report I have on child abuse and fraud? "We're going to make you an executive." It's the only thing that was going on in the background. When you leave here, you'll be an executive. And 7 days later, they wouldn't let me go to court. Now, here's the way I understand this. Say what you will. Yesterday, in this little slave auction that's going on right now, I purchased 10 people that were identified as Capitol rioters. Why? Because it correlated and somebody was already using my life and accounts connected to my life to literally sell or trade or transfer options that had been set up on their lives, including the arrest and the processing of the information connected to the arrest and the way they wanted to characterize them. See, my whole thing has been, if you really think that those people did something wrong and that they have a duty to be there's a duty to restitute society based on the wrong they did, then how and in what manner would you be restituted? What do you want from them? But that's not what this is about. If that was what this was about, anybody, somebody, anywhere would have said anything to me before it happened. Nobody did. So there's 10 that, in my understanding, insofar as anything about that was legitimate, I exercise my right to first claim. And they're mine. And the good thing about it is I had already supported them 6 months before they even got arrested. I had provided what could have been considered support. See, this is what somebody's done with my life. They've taken the things I've actually done, and then they come up with some complete slander and lie about denying me my own acknowledgement or my own works, and then they sit on it. They fence the goods and they sit on it until the heat's off. And then when the heat's off, well, they've already got a whole bunch of processes connected to some recharacterization, and then they redistribute. They recirculate. See, this is why those arguments on illegal distribution were so important, and it has nothing to do with your most preferred presidential prime meat, right? It has nothing to do with that, except that apparently it could potentially be at that quality. And if you didn't steal my life, I might be that person. Would I make different decisions? Well, I don't know. You took my life from 6 months before. You allowed those people to get arrested. And you did a whole bunch of illegal stuff with it while you refused to actually move on the charges. What was it? What was backing them? What was backing them was a review of an audit of the State Department and a request from a senator who used to be an astronaut regarding Department of Energy policy when it came to worker safety at specific kinds of energy facilities. And you're going to tell me, let me ask you, what were the demands of those people that got arrested on the days they did? You made stock out of me and you sold it all over the fucking place. You liquidated my whole fucking family. Is it because you like my name? Do you like my DNA? You did the same thing to them and I know it. Do I really give a shit if they decided that they would hook up a deal beforehand and say, you know what, we're going to let you be our auctioneer. We're going to let you make us slaves, and we're going to let you value us at this particular level. And because we're so devoted to you, once you do your little wrangle with that case on your alleged banker, where you got all these other deals set up by all your other lawyers, well, then we'll be your slaves. Well, I'm sorry. I fucking hijacked your slave ship, and I got 20 of the best. And I'm going to do it every fucking time I can. Every fucking time. Every fucking time I understand that you're continuing to deny the level and profundity of outright fraud that is happening through the Treasury in conspiracy with the Federal Reserve and whatever they thought they were entitled to do to economically engineer the entire planet while financing some of the most heinous crimes. And I say some because they have a track record of financing heinous crimes and then just sitting on it until it transitions. Well, that's not the case in this point, right? You guys created me. You guys created me. You wanted me to do something highly criminal. I'm going to hijack every one of your white slave ships. I'm going to do it every chance I get. It's going to be unfortunate. If I end up getting, I don't know, if your private naval force or your Coast Guard ends up shooting me or shooting some of them while I'm trying to offload them, I apologize in advance. But slavery is unconstitutional. Slavery is against every international convention. The President of the United States or former alleged presidents of the United States thinking they can play a game regarding a slave racket and use as the primary underwriting Somebody that's been a good performer for years while people gaslighted her, who just won't shut the fuck up and keep on her drugs, so that there's a particular kind of volatility that the market could really use, especially if you get some good white stock on site at the Capitol and then get to flip them strategically at time frames coming up, including right now, which is around the time that those pretty little pension benefits for the presidential pension fund come into effect, right? Yeah, I'm taking your XCOM, asshole. I'm taking your XCOM every fucking chance I get. And unfortunately, we have responsibilities and obligations related to activities that have happened under incredibly horrendous alleged presidential policy, going back to when I was 4, 5 years old, if not before I was born. You made me pay for crimes other people committed my entire fucking life. Well, now I got the means to be able to do it the right way. You already made stock of me. You already made stock of my family. As a matter of fact, in 9 days, another XCOM package comes up that I understand is literally exactly connected to liquidating my actual fucking family. I'm not giving it to you. I'm not giving it to your sons. You were supposed to be the fucking president. You're not acting like a fucking president. None of them are acting like presidents. They're acting like slavers that are pissed because they didn't get the market share they thought they were going to get. You had no just cause for doing that. You had no right to do that. You cannot be a slaver in performance of ministerial duties in the United States. I'm taking every one of your fucking ships. And if you get shot along the way, that's not my fucking fault.